Hello, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Shiur, a special Lag BaOmer edition. We'd like to thank our sponsors, and we would like to wish a refuah shleima to Ram ben Sarah Gittel and Lilui Nishmat David ben Simcha. Today we have a special edition exploring Lag BaOmer and Rabbi Shimon bar Yochai. And the question we'd like to start with is, we have this special Hilulah for the Tzaddik, Rabbi Shimon bar Yochai. Now we, the Moroccans, we do a lot of Hilulahs for a lot of Tzaddikim. But Rabbi Shimon bar Yochai is the one Tzaddik, the Tana, that everybody, all Jews, have a celebration for. And even in the Shulchan Aruch, it says that we don't say Tachanun during Lag BaOmer. It is the only tzaddik that the Shulchan Aruch says we don't say Tachanun on the day of his Nachala. And the question is, what is so special about Rabbi Shimon bar Yochai that puts him over and above all the other tzaddikim, even over Moshe Rabbeinu, or Aaron Kohen, or Avram Avinu? Rabbi Shimon bar Yochai, what is so special about him? What are we celebrating? And so we'd like to explore a Gemara here in Sukkah Mem Hemud Beis. That's going to be 45b. And there's two pieces over here I want to go through with you quickly. The first goes like this. Rabbi Shimon bar Yochai says, Yachol ani liftor et kol haolam kulo min adin miyom shenivreti ad ata. He says, I can exempt every person in the world from the judgment of Hashem. That means you can do all the averot that you want. I, Rabbi Shimon bar Yochai, will exempt you. I will be your lawyer and your advocate to exempt you from the din, from the punishment, from the day that I was created until today. Elazar beni, imi miyom shebar olam v'ad achshav. But me, together with my son Elazar, Rabbi Elazar ben Shimon, who's buried next to him in Meron, so together we can exempt the whole world from din, from the beginning of creation until today. So Rabbi Shimon bar Yochai comes here and says that he has this power to exempt the entire world from din. How in the world does he do that? How does that work? So there's two explanations. The first is based on a midrash in the Avot de Rabbi Natan. And Rabbi Shimon bar Yochai over there says, Mikan she'en Yisrael ro'in pnei gehinam le'alam. From here you see that the Jewish people will never go to Gehinnom. Why? He says, because HaKadosh Baruch Hu knows that He created us with something called the Yetzer Hara, the evil inclination. And the Yetzer Hara tempts us to do Averot and to do evil, and it convinces us to do the wrong thing. And therefore, since HaKadosh Baruch Hu knows that He created us that way, we always have an excuse, we have an explanation to get out of jail free. Ki hu yada yitzreinu, which is what we say during Tachanun, which we don't say on Lag BaOmer, but Hashem knows our Yetzer Hara. He knows what we're made of, and He knows our struggle. And therefore, Hashem, we always have a claim when it comes to going to Gehinnom, and that is our ticket out of Gehinnom. That is the Avot Rabbi Natan. Now, what I'd like to focus on really is the explanation given here by Rashi. Now, Rashi says, I'll read it to you inside if I can find it. Yes. Liftor bizchuti ani sovel kol avonotehem upotran min hadin. Because of my zuchuyot, says Rabbi Shimon bar Yochai, because of my merits, I can tolerate, I can bear all the sins of the Jewish people and exempt them from din. So you see that people can be exempt from the punishment that they deserve for their averot, because there's a tzaddik in the world that maybe they never met, perhaps, but there's a tzaddik that exists in the world that will be able to exempt them from their punishments. Now, I'm not sure exactly how that works, but I'd like to suggest something over here. I want to say that this is only going to be relevant when somebody recognizes the zuchuyot of the tzaddik. If somebody says, let's say like the Gemara in Sanhedrin, what is an apikores? An apikores is a very bad person. He doesn't have olam haba. He doesn't have a portion in the world to come. What is an apikores? The Gemara there says, an example of an apikores is somebody who says, Maya hanilan rabbanan. What good are these rabbis? What do they do for us? They're just learning some books. They don't really contribute to the world. They don't stimulate the economy. What good are these rabbis? That is an apikoros. That person has no portion in the world to come. if somebody is saying these kinds of things, I would be safe to assume that he does not partake in the benefits of the zchuyot of tzaddikim like Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. But if somebody does recognize the zchuyot and he realizes that this tzaddik is doing something important and something significant, then that person will be able to latch onto his zchuyot, and those zchuyot will be able to exempt him from punishment, from din. And therefore, we celebrate Lag BaOmer. It's already Lag BaOmer for me over here, maybe for you tonight. We're celebrating Lag BaOmer in order to recognize the tzidkut, the righteousness of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. And because of that, that is going to be for us a bastion for us in the din. It's going to help us get through the upcoming judgment. Now, what judgment is there, by the way? Rosh Hashanah is many months away. The answer is the Mekubalim tell us that actually Chag HaShavuot, which is coming up in a couple of weeks, Chag HaShavuot is also a Yom Hadin. It's also a Yom Hadin. It's based on a Mishnah in Rosh Hashanah, but the Mekubalim explain that it's specifically a Yom Hadin for Torah. It's a day of judgment on how much Torah we are going to learn and how well we are going to learn and how many interruptions there will be during our learning from this Shavuot until the next Shavuot. So it's a very serious Yom Hadin. We know that Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai was all about learning Torah, as we know from the Gemara in Brachot Daf Lamed Hey, that Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai was the one who stood for Torah and only Torah, nothing else. And therefore it is appropriate that right before Shavuot we celebrate the Hilulah of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, that his zechut should stand for us on the Yom Hadin of Shavuot. We need his zchuyot. We need to be exempt from the punishments that we have accrued as a result of our Averot, so that we can learn Torah more efficiently this coming year, Bezrat Hashem. Now, I'd like to carry on here with another piece of Gemara on the same page in Sukkah, Mem He Amud Bet. And I'm not going to read the entire thing, but it's a very interesting Gemara. Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai says something else. Ra'iti b'nei aliyah v'hen mu'atin. I've seen b'nei aliyah. I've seen people who are on the rise, and there are very few, not so many of those. Im elef, if there's 1,000 of them, hen ani uveni mehen. If there's 1,000 of them, me and my son are among them. Im mea hem, if there's only 100, ani uveni mehen, me and my son are among them. Im shnaim hen, if there's only 2 b'nei aliyah in the entire world, 2 people on the rise in spirituality, ani uveni hen, it's going to be me and my son. So Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai identifies himself as a ben aliyah. Now, what is a ben aliyah? How do you define that? Just somebody that's learning well, somebody that prays well, he closes his eyes when he prays, has a long tefillah. What is a ben aliyah? So the Rashi here gives us a very specific definition of ben aliyah. And Rashi says, Ro'eh ani lefi ma'aseh habriyot shebnei aliyah kat ha'mekablin pnei shechina mu'atim hen. Sorry, that was a bit fast, but the point I want to bring from this Rashi is that the Bnei Aliyah are defined as the group that are mekablin pnei shechina, people that receive the face of the Shechina. They have a special invite, a very intimate connection with HaKadosh Baruch Hu that most people do not have. Now the Gemara goes on to say that surely we know Lamed Vav Tzadikim, there's 36 Tzadikim in the world that are mekablin pnei shechina. They have this relationship with Hashem. But no, Bnei Aliyah has a special connotation of over and above the 36 Tzadikim. They are number one. They have a connection with Hashem that's with an aspaklaria me'ira. It's a very clear vision, face to face with HaKadosh Baruch Hu, similar to that of Moshe Rabbeinu, which is a very high level. And number two, they also have to have access on demand to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. It cannot be that Hashem invites them and then they go in. They have on demand anytime, like a father and son. He can go in anytime he'd like to see Hashem, to be mekabel the Pnei Shechina as he wishes. So Rashbi, Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai says about himself that he is among this group of mekablei Pnei Shechina. He had this access to Hashem. He saw him face to face, aspaklaria me'ira. He was on a very, very, very high level, even more than the Lamed Vav Tzadikim. Now, what does a person have to do to be part of the group of Mekablei Pnei Shechina? How do you merit this? What do you have to do? So, what I did find is Gemara in Sotah, Daf Mem Bet Amud Aleph, And the Gemara in Sotah tells us four types of people that are not mikabel the Pnei Shechina. So we have the right to assume that Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai is saying that he did not partake at all in any which way in these following four activities. Number one, kat leitzim, a group of leitzim, scoffers, people that mock, like the ones that we spoke about before. These rabbis, what good are they anyways? The leitzim are never going to be mekabel the Pnei Shechina. They will never have a connection with Hashem. Then, kat chanifim, the flatterers, people that flatter other people, people with money, people with power. They speak up to them even though they're not righteous. Those people will not be mekabel the Pnei Shechina. Number three, kat shkarim, or shakranim, as some say, liars. Liars will not be mekabel the Pnei Shechina. And finally, kat mesaprei lashon hara, people that habitually speak lashon hara will not merit to be mekabel the Pnei Shechina. So Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai did not have in any which way any of these four qualities: leitzanut, chanifa, shakranut, lashon hara. None of them at all. And I want to suggest that these four things, these negative traits, all stem from one thing, and that is emunah and bitachon, complete faith, complete trust in HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai had that. He was notorious for that. And I want to explain. Somebody that scoffs, somebody that feels like he has to make a joke out of everything. So that person doesn't take Hashem seriously. He's learning. You see the guy in the Bet Midrash, he's sitting back, his feet crossed, he has a coffee. He's learning maybe sometimes. So that person doesn't have full emunah in HaKadosh Baruch Hu. He doesn't really believe that what he's doing is serious. Then the chanifim, the people that flatter. You don't need to flatter somebody in order to get their money, or you don't need to suck up to someone to get their power, to be attached to their power, if you believe that Hashem is the most powerful being in the entire world, in the universe. Shakranim, we don't need to lie. The reason why people lie is usually because they feel that they would gain something out of it. Maybe they'll make more money if they lie. A little bit of a lie will maybe give me a raise in my paycheck. You don't need to do that if you have bitachon in Hashem, if you trust Hashem. And those who speak lashon hara, if everything is from Hashem, why do I need to speak badly about my friend? What does it matter what he does? HaKadosh Baruch Hu runs the world. I don't need to speak badly about my friend. If you have full emunah and bitachon, like Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai did, then you are a mekabel Pnei Shechina. You are automatically going to be within the inner circle of Hashem's social media. I think that's, I don't know what they call it, Instagram. Hashem also has Instagram probably, and you will be part of his followers, and he will follow you, and you will be part of his inner circle. Now, according to your madriga in all of these points, according to your level of emunah and bitachon, that is how connected you will be to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. You can be connected to Hashem just a little bit, and you can be connected to Hashem completely, that you can't even tell the difference between some tzaddikim and HaKadosh Baruch Hu. I'm not even exaggerating. Some tzaddikim are exact examples of what HaKadosh Baruch Hu is supposed to be. You look at a tzaddik and you see, wow, that's probably what Hashem is like. You can't tell the difference. And therefore, Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, who possessed this emunah and bitachon in HaKadosh Baruch Hu, he was the one that brought the secrets of the Torah, the Sodot HaTorah, Kabbalah, the Zohar HaKadosh. He wrote that. Nobody else was able to do that. Only Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai came along and he wrote the Zohar HaKadosh. He founded the Sodot of Torah. He mined them out because he was so connected to Hashem. He was able to get so much deeper into the secrets of the Torah. Nobody else was able to do that. Therefore, again, on Lag BaOmer, we dance around the bonfire, we sing, we're festive, and we are recognizing that Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai had a great zechut, and that his avodah, his work in ruchniyut, in spirituality, was real and was serious and was something that we have to strive towards. And we have to understand that that's something that we should also do. We should be a little bit like Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. And once we merit that, then we will be patur min hadin, we'll be exempt from judgment, and therefore that's a real reason to celebrate. We have a lot to learn from Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, but I think that this is one of the lessons. Thank you everyone for listening, and have a great day.